Welcome to Binary Blue. My name's Raisin, and I'm gonna just touch on these gun laws and this body armor law in New York City. Gotta change. New York City too dangerous for us to not at least be able to walk around with body armor. Like, you can't have body armor, you can't have a gun legally, you can't walk with a gun legally. Pepper spray, knife, razor blade, nail clippers, nothing. Mind you, do the math. Look how many people get boomed in New York City on a daily by yourself. Seriously, we need them gun laws to change. New York City needs to be an open carry state, and we need to be able to rock body armor. Let's talk about that. We need the mothers from MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. We need something like that for us to get that body armor rotating. Because we only got one life to live. And I don't care who you are. You ain't quick enough to be picking up no phone. Police ain't fast enough to do nothing. Picking up no phone, explaining to police your life is in danger, immediately in imminent danger. What you gonna do? Only thing you can do is run for your life and die. Shit. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that, man. They need to change them gun laws, period. They need to change that body armor law. The law is good in New York City. I mean, it's good in New York State. It's no good in New York City. That don't make no sense. Truthfully, I don't see how city laws could trump state laws to begin with. But hey, you know, there's always some sort of loophole, crack, crease, crevice, seam of the law. We don't know. But they need to change that, because we all got the right to live, not in fear neither. Yo, my name's Raisin. Appreciate you for coming to check me out. Like, subscribe, share. Let's talk about it. I live in New York City, and every day you hear. Every day you either hear, see, whether it be on the news, whether it be stories from your friends, whether it be stories from family members. Every day somebody either damn near loses their life in New York City or is killed in New York City. And they probably would have had a better chance at living if whoever make the laws for New York City seemed not to really care whether or not you live or die. Because in New York City, you can't carry a firearm legally. You can't wear body armor or bulletproof vest legally. You can't carry a knife, a switchblade. You can't even carry, females can't even carry, nobody can carry pepper spray. So basically in New York City, all you can do is, hope that you don't come across one of the many million mentally disturbed, emotionally disturbed, or some sort of goon who seems to think that running down on civilians is cool. But either which way, it's not cool. People get pushed off the platforms onto the train tracks. People get slashed. I mean, look at it. Look up the last month. Any New York City news you could possibly find. You're going to see slashings. You're going to see drive-bys. You're going to see outright kicking the door, assault rifles, murders. You're going to see anything, any and everything. And you can't blame all this on gang violence. This is definitely not all gang violence. This is called, what I call it, everybody know that unless you strapped, even if you are strapped, you still a victim. You was a vic living in New York City. The only thing you can do is die. Run for your life or die. That's it. Now, yeah, you could walk around with a firearm illegally and then get locked up for it. Then you wouldn't be able to legally carry a firearm. But who wants to get locked up every time they go outside carrying a firearm solely to do what? Protect themselves. Everybody ain't running around with firearms or guns on them to do anything to somebody else. A lot of people, the majority of the people running around outside that's gripped up, it's because they know, if not one or more demons that don't care 2 nickels or a dime about ending your life for something as small as a peanut chew. So I'm trying to figure out, what are you supposed to do? The first thing police gonna tell you, or any civilian gonna say, is you should have called the police department. Now let's be realistic, right? Most of these crimes, or most of these murders, because I ain't even gonna talk about the stuff that where people live. Let's just talk about the murders, the innocent people who get murdered solely because they live in New York City and came across one of New York City demons. Now, in the last week, I done seen about 3 females and a father, not with my own 2 eyes, but throughout the news, pushed on the tracks. Attempted push on the tracks, actually pushed them on the tracks. All of them lived, but who want to be walking, waiting, standing for the train, going to work? Your mother, your aunt, your sister, your daughter, your niece, even yourself. Who want to be standing 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, tired from yesterday, getting up, going to work, and the last thing you should have to worry about is whether or not some New York City demon on the loose is gonna push you onto the tracks. I'm talking about, it'll come from all sorts of different directions. People that you wouldn't even think meant you any harm, was paying you any mind, those be the people hop out pulling stunts. So now, what are you supposed to do is my question. You could call the police while you're running for your life. You could call the police while somebody is in the act, actually in the act of trying to end your whole soul. How? Let's say you even get the chance and opportunity to get to your phone. The first thing they're gonna ask you is where you are and what the emergency is. Now, mind you, I doubt if you be standing still if you're trying to get away from somebody who's attacking you, AKA trying to end your life. So now you got to tell them you're running down, if you happen to know whatever block it is that you're running down. Then you got to tell them, then you got to let them know what the problem is. Oh, somebody's shooting at me, he's got a knife, he's trying to run me over, he's trying to assault me. I done seen acid thrown in people's faces, bleach thrown in people's faces, lye thrown in people's faces, people set on fire, people getting beaten with bats. Like, there's all sorts of craziness going on in the streets, in the subways, in the buses, everywhere. You're not safe in your house, stray bullets, people just kicking your door, think you got something, or just because. So we, or rather, I would, if I could do it myself, I guess I could try to spear tip this, but I think it would be more, I think basically if I spoke on this, or if I tried to get this done, I'm sure it would be harder for me to get it done than it would who I believe would have the best chance and at least changing or at least allowing the body armor law to apply to New York City. Because in New York State, you can legally wear body armor if you're not a convicted felon and or you're not committing a crime or possess a weapon on your person. Other than that, in New York State, you can wear body armor. New York City, you cannot wear body armor. I've called precincts and asked. I've spoken to detectives and asked. I've spoken to officers and asked. I've looked it up myself. I've Googled it. The law stands basically New York State, it's legal. New York City, it's not. So, with that being said, I can almost guarantee that New York City itself has more murders and a higher rate of crime than the entire New York state collectively, excluding the city. So basically, if we took the city stats and stood them up against New York City stats, or rather, pardon self, if we took New York City stats and put them up against New York state stats, as far as crimes, you know, they want to break it down to rape, assault, robbery. Look, I'm really focusing on the murders because I know plenty of people personally and people that I don't know personally who have lost their life solely because somebody mentally disturbed, somebody emotionally disturbed, somebody that was living that gangster life, I guess, decided that they was going to end somebody's life for absolutely what reason? Half of the reasons don't even be good reasons, and the majority of the reasons don't be a reason at all whatsoever. It just be people in their feelings or living up to this fake gangster code, the street code, whatever you want to call it, or basically just being a victim of the fact that they got a whole bunch of mentally disturbed people running around that can't control their thoughts and feelings and actions, and guess what? They running around in the streets. In my neighborhood, I myself personally have, or basically stayed on top of the police department, what's the name of that agency? You know, basically I just called everybody I possibly could, as opposed to getting them up out of there the hood way, like get them out of here, pack them up. Well, one, you know, you can't even pack those type people up because that's a charge right there, as if like it's like you attacking a handicapped individual. They don't know what they doing, but y'all know they got these mental problems. Y'all know this. The state know it. That's why y'all got them in certain houses, certain sections. And in my particular case, this guy was at a house that was basically there's sex offenders, there's all sorts of shit up in that house. There's all sorts of fuckery in that house. So, with that being said, he used to come outside every morning, harass and intimidate women, children. It'd only be women and children, harassing them, making them feel uncomfortable, doing all spitting, acting like he crazy. But I ain't gonna call him crazy, but he was mentally challenged, or he was mentally disturbed, whatever you like to call it. So, with that being said, he used to come outside, you know, basically spitting, running up on women, can have $1, cursing them out, making them feel like, you know, intimidated, to the point as to where they would give him $1, or they would give him cigarettes or give him stuff just so that they would leave him alone. So, you know, I spoke to him a couple times. He's like, oh yeah, you know, big bro, I'm sorry, and da-da-da. I'm like, all right. He act a fool in the store, tear stuff up on the store, come outside, take a shit right in front of the store. Come outside, wipe shit all over the store. I'm like, how? People in the neighborhood call police come, police can't even touch him because he's mentally challenged. So, with that being said, you got to deal with mentally challenged individuals. You got to run around with these demons. You got the young punks, you know what I'm saying? You got the older idiots. You got the fake I'm gangsters. You got all sorts of craziness running around, ready to boom shit. But I can't wear a vest. You can't wear a vest. I can't carry a firearm legally. You can't carry a firearm legally. Why? The only possible reason I could possibly think that New York City don't want people walking around with bulletproof vests is for one reason and one reason only. If anybody's ever been taught or went to a class or anything in reference to shooting, to stop something, they always teach you to shoot at the biggest part of the target. The biggest part of a target on a human being would be your chest, your stomach, your torso, your midsection. So that's the only thing that I could possibly think as to why they don't want people wearing bulletproof vests in New York City, is because when the police need to stop you, or when the police want to stop you, they don't want to have to be specific as to where they shoot you to stop you, meaning your head, your legs, your arms, because that's all that would be available as far as a target, seeing as you have a bulletproof vest, or seeing as bulletproof vests would now be, if they were legal, that's what they would have to do. Outside of that, I don't see there being any other reason why in New York City a vest would be illegal. Another thing, I highly doubt and strongly believe if they allowed, or if they changed the gun laws to where New York City was an open carry state and city, I guarantee you crime would drop dramatically, because the average Joe, what's the dude name from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? I forgot his name. But not too long ago, everybody know the guy from, I think his name is Rick Moranis or something like that. I'm not too sure. But everybody know son from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? My guy was just walking down the block. The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids dude was walking down the street. New York City. Dude is famous, rich, Jewish. Some strange, nobody, random, whomever. Yo, cold cocks him dead in the street. I felt horrible. I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, he's a New Yorker. That son from Honey, I Shrunk, he's not even exempt. They don't care about outing him. That's crazy. It's like living in New York City is a graveyard. It's a graveyard. Honestly, it's a graveyard. And now, with the drill music, I myself can say I'm actively in the loop, right? That drill music done turned New York into a straight graveyard. I ain't never seen, like, these little dudes is ready to run down on anything gun kata. They letting it go. They letting it go. I ain't never seen so many people. Like, I'm from the 80s too, fam. Like, honestly, I done seen all that. I done heard all that. Like, it was different. People that got hit like that back then, there was a reason. Most of the time, it was a reason. Now, social media, let's think about it. How many people lost their life for capping, fronting, clout chasing on social media? Imagine a mother being told that her son lost his life, or her daughter lost her life because of some social media nonsense. Who's that make sense to? All I'm saying is, and I don't really want to drift and touch too many topics, my goal at this channel, on this channel, I'm going to be pushing and promoting the absolute need and necessity for Atleast body armor. And if we could ever get to the point as to where New York City is an open carry state, that would be even better. Because there's no way on earth. Today I was watching the news. A married couple got into an argument with another couple. Mind you, the married couple, if I'm not mistaken, guaranteedly 70 and up. But I think one or the other, the husband was either 70 or the wife was 72, or vice versa, gets assaulted, gets into a brawl with two grown young imbeciles, one female, one male. Where was it? I think it was in Brooklyn or the Bronx, one of the two. Either which way, who assaults and beats up senior citizens? I don't understand that. Like, where could anybody beat up a senior citizen and that be okay? I don't think anywhere. That's one case. Now, mind you, if them senior citizens had the grip on them, if grandpa had the steam on him, he could have sat the young boy down. But instead, because he lived in New York City, guess what? This 72-year-old man and his wife living in New York City violated by some young bucks. Who hearing that? Now, if they grandson or if they son, right, go out looking for these two individuals who did that to their grandmother or to their mother and father, grandmother and grandfather, and ended these people's lives, you getting into any sort of altercation with a 70-some-odd-year-old, you could cause a heart attack, stroke, they could bump their head. How you assault a 70-some-odd-year-old individual and call yourself gangster? How you no, that's not gangster. You's a bozo. Bozos. I'm sick of that. New York City is packed with a bunch of bozos that get to do whatever they want to do, get locked up, do a couple of days, do a couple of years, come out, do the same bozo shit. This time even worse, probably take somebody's life. I forgot how long ago it was, but it was something to the effect. Matter of fact, forget, I don't even got to go that far. Within the last 2-3 days, woman standing on the train, a woman standing waiting for the train, somebody come along, try to snatch this woman's purse. This lady, I think she was like 60-something years old, 60-year-old lady, 62, 63, something like that. Look it up if I'm lying. New York City. 63, 62-year-old lady, something to that effect, standing, probably waiting to go to work, something to that effect, gets assaulted by some bozo for her purse. Dragging this lady all throughout the subway because the lady won't let go of her purse. Beating on her, stomping on her, stepping on her. Ain't nobody come to this lady help. Ain't nobody come to this lady aid. This lady can't protect herself. She ain't got no grip. She ain't got the steam. She can't walk around with a hammer. Why? Grandma can't walk with the hammer because what? The bozos is moving around. That's not, who's accepting that? Somebody do anything to my grandmother, I'm sitting in jail. Easy. Easy. You can do whatever you want to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big boy. You do something to my grandmother, my mother, my aunt, my sister, my nieces, my daughter, you know, the whole female tree. God, no. And what judge, what police officer ain't gonna understand that? That's why I don't understand how they sleep at night sometimes. Like, I know the human being in these people, whether it be the judge, the police, I know they don't want these people going to jail. They just want to end them. And some of them, y'all should end them. You should just end them. Certain people don't deserve to live, honestly. If you running around doing stuff to women, children, like bunch of rapos running around. Got them living right next door to you, your kids, all that. Don't even know it. Somebody raped your daughter. You want to see that man go to jail? Who? No. There ain't all the jails and all the time in the world that it... My who? My what? Somebody pushed your mother on the train tracks. Imagine being a son or a daughter and getting a call like when your mother was on her way to work. Some gremlin, right? Some, I don't even, truthfully, I cry watching the news sometimes. I ain't gonna hold you. Anybody that know me in real life know it's the truth. I can't watch the news because the stuff that be going on there, if that was my family member, my mother, my father, my this, my that, there's no way on earth God himself could not stop me from unleashing whatever I have in my hand, whether bare hand, knife, gun, Mack truck, airplane, rocket launcher, I'm giving it to somebody doing shit like that. Pushing people's mothers on the train tracks, slashing people's mothers. What else we got? How many moms is dead? How many mothers is dead? Because of what? Now, mind you, I can think about, let's say, y'all heard about the story in New York City where a guy tried to talk to a girl. The girl denied his advances. I've been through stuff like this myself. The girl denied the guy's advances. The girl cursed the dude out. Told her that I'm sure it's the last line some dudes ever heard in their life before they got killed or died, whatever you want to call it. She gonna go get her man. Now she go get her man because another dude, a grown man, tried to talk to her, shut him down. He ain't like it, groped her. She spazzed out, went and got a man. Her man came back with her to confront the dude. The dude shot both of them. Killed the girl, killed the girlfriend, and the boyfriend, I think he was laid up in the hospital, got hit. But the girlfriend got the majority of the bullets. For what? Because she didn't want to talk to you, fam? In New York City. That's how we live it. Now, mind you, let me break it down to you. We live in New York City. It's a battleground. Especially when you talk about the hood and everybody know there's different rules in the hood. Now, if this was somewhere outside the hood, that lady would have just called the police, made a scene, called the police. That guy would have been arrested. But you can't do that in the hood. And honestly, it don't make no sense really, because if you do the math, some of the people that get locked up, they become worse or get worse after you throw them in there with real live criminals. So then when they do get out, they really moving on some criminal shit now, criminal-minded shit now. So, yo, look, man, all I'm saying, in New York City, we mandatorily, mothers need to do something like this, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. There needs to be a group that mothers come up with that their sons and daughters have the right to at least live by wearing body armor. Remember that? I think it's like 2-3 years ago. The girl was, I think, walking a little brother or she was walking, I think it was a little brother, picking her little brother up from school, taking him to school. I think it was in the afternoon, around 2:30, 3 o'clock. I think this was in the Bronx. Simply walking down the block, walking with her little brother. Shots go off. The girl gets hit in the back, drops, dies. She had a vest on, she'd be alive. The 16-year-old, if I'm not mistaken, the Bronx. Y'all seen it? Look it up, New York City. 16-year-old killed right in front of the store. Son walk up to him, pat him on the shoulder, like, yeah, buddy, you a good guy, buddy. I don't know if that's what he said, but you know, that's what it looked like. Then, calmly, sit right there, say a few words, looked like some had the 40, pulled the 40 out, gave it to him. Broad daylight, boomed him, shot him straight in his neck, 16-year-old, died. Maybe he might have lived if he had a vest on. New York City, another story. New York City, you walk into a store, there's a bozo standing, you know, you've seen it 1,000 times. You go to walk into the store, there's a bunch of bozos standing right there in front of the door that hardly want to move, if move at all, wants you to squeeze by and do all it. No, move. You know what I'm saying? Like, move. Son didn't even do that. Guy walks in the store. Imagine you walk in the store, you see this idiot standing in the middle of the walkway. You do your best to walk around him, but your shoulder happens to catch him, and he, or a piece of your elbow happens to brush upon him, and he takes it upon himself to want to act a fool. Now y'all fighting in the store. The fight you don't really want to go through it. You ain't really trying to fight, which if you see the video, the dude didn't really want it. He wasn't about, not saying he wasn't about that life, but he definitely wasn't looking for an altercation. He was looking to go get whatever he was getting from the store. That's what he was looking to do. And then he ran into this idiot standing in the middle of the walkway. Long story short, they get into a fight, right? Son go outside, they leave. Son getting the best of him. Cause he, son that doing the shooting, he about this big. So, he getting the best of him. Somehow they end up outside, not fighting, like they both go outside, walk outside. I think son that was getting his ass handed to him, he went outside first. Soon as the dude who was just walking in the store to get something, whatever he was getting, and happened to have to encounter this idiot standing in the middle of the store, acting like, he ain't got nothing else better to do, no sense to him. So boom, he walk out the store, son shoot him dead in the chest. Come to find out, son was a college student coming back to school, I think, because he was in Corona, something. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it was, shot in the chest, dead. Fist fight, shot in the chest. All the 1,001 illegal guns on the street in New York City. Mind you, we can't rock a vest. How does that make sense? How does it make sense to pull up all the stats in New York City, all the murders, all the crime, all the violence? It's been up by 54%. It's up by this percent. That percent is getting worse every year. Corona, this, that, the third. But nobody cared that you can't wear body armor. Nobody cared that the only thing you can do in New York City is run for your life or die. I do. But I know I can't get it done by myself. I already know mothers could get it done. I need the right people around me, or I need to get in touch with the right people to try to take this and make this take off. Because honestly, look, at this point, I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm at the point where I'd rather be wearing body armor and get bagged with body armor and explain it like, fam, what you want me to do? Officer, what do you want me to do? Just pull up the last 24 hours of your shift. Do you see all that? What's the chances of me living through all that as a New Yorker? Come on. I just watched the video the other day. It was on the news. Like a pack of 20 kids stomping, thrashing, jumping, breaking the windows out on a BMW in the city. This looked like downtown Manhattan. Yo, I said while watching it, I'm like, Dad, yo, I feel bad, yo, because if that's not even, like, if they not even from New York, that's embarrassing. A lot of people come in, and I be like, I don't know why people want to come to New York City as tourists. Man, y'all never seen the first Batman? Yeah, that's what happened when you become a tourist coming to New York City. Right, you end up the Joker. That's the only way to live out here. You gotta have that Joker mentality. You got to. If not, you gonna make 2, 4, 7, 5, 9. You gonna be on there. You gonna be in every blotter. You gonna be there. Man dies, man dead after. Right. That's all that's gonna happen in New York City, man. So look, we need to get them gun laws changed, hopefully. But that body armor law, we need body armor. We need body armor. Yesterday we need it. So I'm talking about, it ain't just, don't just think I'm talking about, people in the mix. I'm talking about everybody. Look, let them legalize wearing body armor. That'll be the first gift I buy everybody in my family. Everybody, the baby too. Why? They shooting babies. Let's think about it. How many kids under the age of 5 got boomed, lost their life, whether it be stray bullets or intentionally shot and killed in New York City? Plenty and many. We need bulletproof vests. I need it, you need it, we all need it. And for those naive individuals who seem to think that the police is, all you can do is call the police, they'll take care of it. They're not going to get there fast enough. There's no shot at the police department. No, they're not gonna get there fast enough at all. Period. I don't care if they were standing on the next corner, they're not gonna get there fast enough. When you see danger or you see a threat, and some of these things you see coming, because if you were a real New Yorker or been here long, keep your mouth shut, your eyes open, and your ears open, and watch how to move in these streets. Because if not, you getting got. We need vests. We need to be able to carry firearms. We need them vests at least. We could work on that open carry, but them vests, we need those. Like, subscribe, share. Appreciate your time. Peace.